Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to discuss about the remaining topics of Cheiloscopy, that is recording and development of the lip prints and where all we can find the lip prints on the crime scene. In the previous video I have already discussed an introduction about Cheiloscopy and the classification, the Martin Santos classification and Suzuki and Tsuchihashi classification. Link for these videos has been given in the description box. If you want, you can go check that out. So let's start with the recording and development now. Lip prints can be recorded in number of ways. If any lip prints have been found at the crime scene, then they have been left by the culprit by mistake, right? And we might have certain suspect of our own. So in order to know whether those lip prints that are found at the crime scene belong to the particular suspect that we are having, we need to have the lip prints of the suspect also, right? So for that, what we do is we do recording of lip prints of the suspects, and there are a lot of ways to do that. So those ways are discussed here. First of all, we can simply photograph the lips of the suspect. This is the easiest method. Simply high definition cameras can be used and then pictures can be taken of the suspect's lips. Then another thing that we can do is on a non-porous even surface, like for example a mirror, the lips can be snapped, enlarged, and edge tracing is made of the lip furrows. So the lips can be snapped on any surface that is even and does not have pores and on which we can easily see them. Like for example a mirror, we can snap the lips, the prints can be enlarged, edge tracing can be done. So this is another method. Now the most commonly used method is this one. What we do in this is we put lipstick or any other material that is able to bring out certain color is applied onto the lips of the suspect, and then the individual is asked to press his or her lips to a piece of paper or to a cellophane tape or to a similar surface. So what happens here in this, if you look at this picture, actually I have an enlarged version here. If you look at this picture, so this is how the suspect's lips were originally. Then in order to record the lip prints, here you can see that the lipstick is applied over here, the pigment is applied. Then this is how the lips are going to look after application. Then in this case a cellophane tape has been taken. Cellophane tape is properly adhered to the lip surface, and then here it is taken out. Here if you can notice, the lip prints are formed onto the cellophane tape. Then this tape is pasted over a white paper on which we can clearly see the lip grooves, right? Then these lip characteristics are studied carefully and they are then matched with the characteristics that of the lips that were found as an evidence on the crime scene. Other than this, another method that can be used is fingerprint roller or fingerprinter. This is how a fingerprint roller or a roller fingerprinter looks like. So this roller is rubbed onto the lips of the suspect, and then those lips are pressed on certain white surface onto a paper, and then what we get to see is an impression of the lips. So that is how a roller fingerprinter is used. Then also another method is by having the suspect impress his or her lips without lipstick or other recording medium against a suitable surface, and then processing these lip prints with either conventional fingerprint developing powder or with a magna brush and magnetic powder. The lips are pressed onto a surface, and then those prints, those latent prints, are developed either using colored powders or using magnetic powders. So for development of lip prints, as I just said, two types of methods can be used. First is using magnetic powders and second is using colored powders. So mostly what we use is the regular colored powders, that is, we can also say the non-magnetic powders. These are normally used at the crime scene for development of the lip prints, and these can be used on surfaces like windows, TV sets, metal file cabinet, metal window frames, etc. So all on these places, mostly on all the surfaces, the regular colored powders, the regular non-magnetic powders can be used. Now there are various regular powders that are available in the market in different colors like black, silver, grey, bichromic powders, white. So according to the material onto which we think that the lip print is there, we can decide the color, appropriate color. So appropriate color is selected to give a proper contrast. For a proper contrast with the background, we need to find the perfect color, perfect powder color, in order to have a clear picture of the latent print. I hope you get this point. Then the lip prints can also be developed using the magna brush and magnetic powders. So for that, what we do is, to record lip prints using magna brush method, the person should impress his or her lips against a glossy porous surface or a smooth non-porous surface. Then after that, these lip prints should then be subjected to a heat source until they solidify, or should be allowed to air dry. So once the person has impressed his lips onto the desired surface, the lip print should be subjected to any heat source so that they can solidify. If the heat source is not available, then the lip prints should be allowed to air dry. These prints should then be powdered using a magna brush. This is how a magna brush looks like, and then using magnetic powder. Conventional powder methods are usually unsuitable for powdering the lip prints because the brush tends to smear or leave the streak marks on the print. The first point was that mostly the regular non-magnetic powders are used because the magnetic brush tends to smear or leave streak marks on the print. Hence, we don't get a proper lip print. These streaks may then be misinterpreted as or interpreted as false characteristics by the person who is comparing the two lip prints, right? These magnetic powders and magna brush, they are also costly as compared to the conventional colored powder. Hence this method is not that preferred as compared to the regular colored powder, non-magnetic powder. Now lip prints in crime scene. Let's understand where can these prints be found. Just like fingerprint and teeth, lip prints can be used as a tool for identification because they are also considered to be unique. Lip prints are unique and they do not change during the life of a person, just like a fingerprint, just like a teeth. Now where can we find the lip prints? This point is going to tell us that they can be traces of lip prints should be looked for on a cutlery, crockery item, or on the window, door glass, on a photograph or letter. Lip prints may also appear on side by side with tooth mark on food products. In practice, lip prints have also been seen in the windows, paintings, doors, plastic bags, cigarette ends, etc. So all these places should be looked for lip prints. They can be most frequently seen during murder, rape, and burglary. So these are the situations in which lip prints are most commonly seen. Traces with clear lines and individual elements enable individual identification of human beings. So hence lip prints are also an important evidence. If found at the crime scene, this is how they can be recorded, they can be developed, and they can be compared. So this was all about this video. Thank you for watching.